When the instructor at the Demon Hunter Academy calls this guy into the arena to test his strength, he makes it clear right from the start that he's not messing around. His first attack shatters the arena floor, and Aang barely manages to dodge it. The second strike is just as devastating, and the instructor has no intention of stopping. Then he grabs Aang by the throat and sends him flying straight into the wall. The other instructors begin to worry that things have gone too far and that it's time to stop the fight. But when Aang gets back up, he decides he won't hold back any longer, and will show them what true power really is. When he emerges from the dust, his aura is so overwhelming and terrifying that even the instructor is genuinely frightened. He has never seen anything like this in his entire life. Everyone thought Aang was just an ordinary student, but it turns out he possesses the power of the strongest demon in the world. Now it's Aang's turn to attack. Before the instructor can even process what's happening, our guy lunges forward so fast that the instructor barely manages to block the strike, but it turns out to be just a feint. In the very next moment, Aang knocks the instructor off balance with a single blow. And with just a few powerful attacks, Aang claims victory. Everyone around is left shocked. After all, our boy just defeated the strongest instructor in the entire academy. So who exactly is Aang, and why is he so strong? Let's go back to the beginning and find out. The guy who failed every single test in Demon Slayer's academy is now standing in front of the sync machine. This sync machine measures how well a person's body can connect with a demon core, the energy source humans use for their transplanted armor. The higher your sync rate, the more demon power you can control. The top cadet of the class, Situ Liu, just scored 39%, the highest in the entire group, and everyone calls her a prodigy. But nobody expects much from Aang. Yet the moment the test starts, the numbers shoot up like crazy. 20%, 40%, then more and more until finally it reaches 80%. The instructors freak out, thinking the machine's broken, but it's not. Our dude's the real deal. Because what no one here knows is that this loser used to be humanity's strongest warrior. 60 years ago, he led an army of heroes against the demons that nearly destroyed the world. He fought the Crimson Demon King himself, and died taking his last breath in that final battle. But instead of dying for good, he woke up in a weak body, decades in the future. As he looks around, he realizes he is in some kind of boot camp, trapped in another body. He feels he might be dreaming, examining his hands and seeing that it feels too real to be a dream. He touches his face and realizes that it's a different face, not his cool, unbeatable, charismatic yet handsome face, and not his strong metal body. He has a meltdown right on the spot, asking who and where he is. Apparently, he's in what appears to be a boot camp in the Helios region. The commander addresses them, making sure they understand what it means to participate in the soldier evaluation. The commander keeps on talking about how they wouldn't be here if it weren't for the soldiers who died in the war, and yells at the cadets, asking if they truly know what it means to be a soldier. They all confirm. The protagonist, on the other hand, does not. He murmurs to himself about how the information is not correct, but the commander hears him and approaches. He questions him, asking if he doesn't understand the symbol that soldiers represent. The commander asks for his name, but the protagonist doesn't know what to answer, as he can't declare himself as the legendary hero Aang. Surprisingly, even in a reincarnated body, his name is still Aang, and this only pisses the commander off even more, as he sees it as a disgrace to the righteous name. He calls him a stupid fool who has yet to achieve the foundation of a soldier's self-cultivation, then slams his face on the ground. The protagonist is totally disappointed that his body can't even react to a blow of such a low level, and still shares the same name as him. The commander, while walking away, tells him in a threatening tone that he'll be paying extra close attention to him, then goes back to addressing the whole crowd. He tells everyone to move to the evaluation field, as next up is the physical evaluation. One of the soldiers helps Aang up and asks if he's okay. He introduces himself as Lan Sinuo, and notes how our boy has a name to feel pride about. Just as he's saying this, a white-haired girl in front interrupts, mocking Aang for sharing the same name with the legendary hero. One thing for sure, she got a strong hate boner for our boy and his name. Her name is Situ Liu, by the way, and she walks away calling him childish, which pisses our boy off badly. He complains to Lan that the girl has a cocky attitude. Hearing this, his freshly made friend is honestly surprised he doesn't know her. He identifies her as the most anticipated evaluation soldier of their batch, a young lady with the nickname Cold-Blooded Demon, and the daughter of the most esteemed martial family of the Helios region, the Situ noble family. Aang finds the name Situ very familiar and tries to recall where he has heard it before. His new friend picks him up from the floor, and some girl takes a picture of them from behind, calling it a truly enchanting bromance. They turn toward her, and she tells them they can ignore her and continue. While the protagonist tries to keep a serious face to ask her who she is, Lan asks if she just took a picture of them, which Aang argues isn't the main point right now. She introduces herself as Suiju Yuhui and says it's nice to meet them. Apparently, she saw the boys' interaction as some weird bromance scene, which for some reason caught her attention. Aang finds it unfortunate that she is not the sharpest tool in the shed. At the fitness test venue, Aang gets fired up, reminding himself that despite having a body that is weak, he is still ultimately the strongest warrior. He intends to stun everybody by obtaining monstrous grades. The test begins with the long-distance endurance round. Ang sets off quickly, aiming to secure the top rank and set a new record while he is at it. In the end, he does break a record, but for the longest time taken in a long-distance endurance test, ultimately coming last and getting laughed at by everyone. The second fitness test is the explosive arm strength test, where Aang also comes last and even sprains his wrist. He does horribly again in the third test, the explosive leg strength test, ending up last once more. Liu mocks him for having the worst results in the Academy's history. Lan tries to cheer him up, while Suiju is disappointed that this might be the last time she can take pictures of both of them together. Meanwhile, Ji Yaotang and the officiator discuss his performance. Ji tells the captain that Aang's results are so poor that he should be eliminated immediately, as there is no need to proceed to the second round of assessments. The captain agrees there might not be much hope for him, but he still has the right to participate in the second round of tests, which might even be his last chance. He orders for the second round to begin immediately. For this test, they gather inside a building and are assessed on their synchronization with their special equipment. For Aang, this is his chance to shine. He remembers keeping an average sync rate over 96% in the past. Even though he is not in the best shape now, he knows it comes down to determination, and he is ready to prove the doubters wrong. Checking out the grafting gear, which looks like it is from 60 years in the future and is super light, he feels pumped. Liu, who trains with a martial arts family, gets a sync rate of 39%, the highest of anyone there. This makes her the center of attention, and someone even wants to date her because she is so impressive. When she finds out her score in the lounge, she is over the moon, even though she tries to keep her cool. Ang is amazed upon seeing this girl doing 39% on her first try. His new friend talks about how Liu seems to have a fiery strength hidden in her, and Aang can feel it too. Lan then suddenly notes that his friend does not look worried about the test, and our boy confirms that he isn't. After all, he is used to this kind of thing. Then the test continues. For many newbies, it is their first time using the grafting equipment, and it clearly hurts. The demon core hits them hard, putting a lot of strain on their bodies from the start. A few cannot take the pain and quit. To pass, warriors need at least a 10% sync rate. Lan manages 24%, which is a pleasant surprise. Suiju gets 30% and passes as well. Ji Yaotang mentions that this round shows some really promising new talent. His colleague points out that including Suiju, there are 6 warriors who stand out in their group. Ji Yaotang agrees there are good prospects, but also some who clearly are not cut out for this. Then it is our boy's turn, and people start making fun of him, guessing his sync rate will be low because of his earlier poor performance. Ang is sure that they are going to eat their words. He is determined to show them up and hopes they are ready for a huge surprise. Bro's face is enough to tell you about his confidence. Ang picks the red core because it boosts physical strength, and he knows there are 6 different demon cores from the battlefield. The common ones are red, yellow, green, and blue. He figures that getting a high sync rate is all about having strong willpower. The more willpower you have, the more power you can pull from the core and control it. When asked if he is ready, he says yes. Once they start, everyone in the lounge feels a strong reaction, especially Liu, who is surprised it is coming from Aang. My guy, on the other hand, is determined to show them the power of a top warrior. By now, Lan has started to suspect that our boy is hiding his true strength. Everyone is amazed when his sync rate hits 40%. Ang feels sure he can push it to 96%, so he increases his effort. The warriors watch as his rate climbs to 60%. Ji Yaotang cannot believe it and wonders if the equipment is broken. A girl reports that it is still rising, now at 80%. Some start to think Aang is cheating, or that the gear is faulty. But we all know that our boy just wants to prove he is the best and show them a real difference in power. Then he feels a strange shift and becomes extremely tired. He says he cannot go on. Someone asks if he is joking, and it turns out the equipment has glitched. In the end, his sync rate is only 10%. The assistant explains to Ji Yaotang that the core has broken and is probably faulty, which caused the strange readings. But of course, the commander is not sure if it is just a mere glitch. Ang still passes with 10%, though others think the core is bad. After all, there is no way in hell that such a weak body could achieve such a high rate. Meanwhile, our boy's friend rushes to check on him, while Liu feels jealous, thinks someone is stealing her spotlight, and is not happy about it. Lan rescues our boy out of the test room, while our poor fella is just feeling grateful that he at least passed with this pathetic score. Suiju, meanwhile, is out here busy taking pictures of Lan rescuing his friend. Later, as Aang sits back, he ponders the strange loss of strength, as if something had drained it away in an instant, something he has never felt before. Despite his willpower getting him to 80%, a low-quality core should not have broken like that. Ji Yaotang comes by to congratulate them for reaching the final test, which will be a real fight against demons. He hopes they will all make it through safely. Then they are told to head to the next test site. Ang, feeling sick, walks off with a bad feeling, talking about the possibility of dying. As he leaves, the commander still hasn't gotten over the fact that Aang's crimson core got shattered, which makes him intrigued about his potential. He is eager to see how this mysterious newbie will handle the next challenge in the hunt beyond the wall in the thick fog. At the third assessment area, the cadets gather in front of the gate, which is about to open. Ung thinks about how it is his first time stepping outside, and also about how people have lived in separate communities for years. Beyond the wall, thick fog always covers the area, so they are told not to waste time, move quietly, and double-check their gear before talking, or they might get killed. This begs the question if the new core he received is good enough. Though he does not think the core is the problem, his strength suddenly disappears, as if something inside him rejected it. He wonders if this is a side effect of time travel. As he moves forward, he senses some demons nearby. Shock waves come from him and reach a nearby cave where a demon is sitting. The demon, sensing a stronger presence, is startled. Aang thinks these might be the demons he felt, as something inside him starts to resonate for no clear reason. Just as he is thinking about this, Liu pushes him to move forward. He apologizes for the delay, and Lan comes over to ask if there is an issue. Ung starts to respond, but before he can finish, the three of them are commanded to form a team. Since everyone else is ready, there is no need to wait, and they should catch up with the group ahead. Suiju wonders if teaming up with them was part of our boy's plan, but we all know that Aang never thought about it. Meanwhile, Liu was intentionally worried earlier that no one would team up with her. Looks like even she knows how arrogant she can be. Before heading further, Suiju takes a photo of the group, a proof that solidifies their team. The Dispelling Stellae is a black structure made from tough minerals. One of its minerals can clear the fog within a certain range. The examiner explains they will take the test as a team of 4. He assumes they all know the test is a fog hunt. Each team member gets a combat knife and a small fog-clearing device made from the same material as the stelae. Their mission is simple. The fog hunt is the last challenge every new recruit faces in the fog-covered world. A warrior must watch out for dangers hidden in the fog. Being a warrior is more than just being strong. It means facing fears and the unknown together as a team. They have to awaken their inner hunter, defeat the appearing demons, and only then earn the title of warrior. The first team's test ends, and the second team gets ready. Tada Yoshioku, the leader of the 3rd Squadron, watches the contestant from the gate. She is accompanied by her fellow Joel, and Commander Ji Yaotang is there too. The woman notices several promising new talents but is especially focused on Liu. She wants to know what her fellow seniors think about these newcomers. Joel is interested in Liu too. Coming from a martial family with good training, she could become a great warrior. On the other hand, Ji Yaotang seems to be fixated on Aang. He knows by fact that there was nothing wrong with Aang's core, so he is still curious about what really happened during the earlier event. The woman then snaps him out of his thoughts, calls him Tang Tang, and asks what he is thinking. Of course, our brute commander wants her not to use such an embarrassing nickname. Joel meanwhile notices that only this woman can make our hardcore commander with that embarrassing nickname. She then asks if they have checked the demon levels, stressing that only non-finned demons should be in the exam area. Ji Yaotang reassures her not to worry. They have been monitoring the area for days to make sure the exam is safe, confirming no finned demons are near Helos Town. Joel also adds that even if a finned demon shows up, they will step in to protect the future warriors. The next group's test finishes, and it is time for the 10th group. Liu, who is in this group with Aang, gets ready to start. As our boy picks up the small container, Liu grabs it from him and makes a run for it, excited to show off her skills. Aang wonders why someone would be so eager to impress, and everyone quickly follows Liu, jumping to put the container in its spot. Tada Yoshioku can tell that Liu's recovery core is impressive, pointing out that her dexterity matches the blue agility cores, which shows her martial family background. Soon demons start attacking. Aang suggests his group to fight the demons, and Lan jumps into action, throwing a powerful punch. Ji Yaotang is impressed by Lan's prowess, who is doing a great job and has already mastered his core's strength well. Aang draws his knife and tells everyone to focus on one demon each. They all agree and jump into battle. Suiju slashes at one demon several times, finally killing it. Lan also takes down a demon with a single punch, and Commander Joel points out that Suiju and that brute guy are working perfectly together, with Suiju showing impressive moves and making the most of the agility cores. Ji Yaotang reminds them not to rely too much on anybody. Liu stabs a demon, making it explode. Now it is Aang's turn to show his skills. He focuses on 3 key spots: the throat, chest, and abdomen. He targets these areas while thinking about his current body's limits and how much damage he can do quickly. He gets ready to test his abilities under the exam conditions and rushes forward to keep attacking the demon. He sees the demon throw a punch and quickly dodges to the side, then stabs his knife under its shoulder. He is annoyed at how slow his reactions feel. When the demon tries to kick him, he dodges again and stabs it once more, still feeling that his movements are not smooth. He gets in a few hits, but they are weak. Seeing this, his teammates begin suspecting that he is just messing around with his targets. Meanwhile, Suiju takes some pictures, hoping to catch everything on camera. Liu stays silent but thinks Aang is purposely showing off. Tada Yoshioku takes note of our boy's fighting style and asks who he is. impressed by how well he keeps up the pressure. Joel also commends our boy, saying that he moves like someone with a lot of experience. After fighting for a while, Aang realizes he cannot use his old abilities and is already feeling worn out. It is a bad situation, so he decides to finish the demon right away. Just as he rushes in, something else suddenly appears and takes out the demon first. Suiju wonders about the strange roots that show up during the fight. Then, out of nowhere, a one-finned demon appears. Sensing real danger, Ji Yaotang tells everyone to fall back, and they do so quickly. The other two seniors also step up to fight the one-finned demon. Tada Yoshioku tells the hunters not to panic and to stay with our commander, who promises to protect them until they reach the town. The one-finned demon can sense that one of the humans feels like a demon. Aang and his three friends are stuck, confused by what it means. Liu worries that the earlier demons are nothing compared to the one-finned demon, who imposes such a damning threat that they'll be killed for even a single mistake. Aang realizes that in his current body, he cannot handle a one-finned demon. Terror sets in when he thinks about fighting such a powerful enemy as a normal warrior. The demon easily disables all four of them and starts hauling them away. Tada Yoshioku and her fellow chase after it, but the demon dives underground with the four, and Joel yells for everyone to follow. After a while, the trail ends suddenly. Tada Yoshioku wonders how a one-finned demon could show up so unexpectedly, especially since Ji Yaotang had checked this area for days and never missed anything before. This has never happened until now. Ji Yaotang arrives, demanding to know where the four warriors went and why everyone stopped tracking the demon. Joel suggests he relaxes because the enemy vanished. The lady points out that the one-finned demon likely went deeper underground, and they should not rush in since nobody has explored that area yet. Remembering how he lost his brother, Ji Yaotang slams his fist into the ground, blaming himself for putting the four in danger. Joel meanwhile suggests going back to town, guessing it is probably in chaos by now. He wants to send out search teams to make sure there are no more one-finned demons roaming around. The lady also agrees to not stress this unprecedented situation, especially since no one saw this coming. She wants Ji Yaotang to stay calm, even though she knows it is difficult for him. Ji Yaotang stands up and says he will keep looking for the four warriors alone, telling them not to worry. Joel starts to object, but the lady cuts in, telling the commander to return before sunset. The commander agrees, then heads off into the fog. She is sure as hell that there is no changing his mind. Joel recalls how once demons took the commander's younger brother years ago, and he still blames himself. Tada Yoshioku notes that if Ji Yaotang's brother were alive now, he would be about the same age as the four captured kids. Maybe these kids that just got kidnapped by the enemy remind him of his little brother. Meanwhile, inside a cave, Aang and the others are tied up. Our boy wakes up, confused about where they are, but relieved everyone is still breathing. The demon appears from behind and notices that Aang is the first to wake. He can tell that this boy seems different from the others. It is curious why Aang has a demon-like aura, possibly even stronger than the one-finned demon. My guy got no clue what this shithead is talking about. Suddenly Aang's body starts to glow red, and he snaps the ropes around him. He rushes at the demon, but the demon dodges. He thinks that in his past life, he would have taken off the demon's head before it even had a chance to move. He knows he needs to save the others. He notices the one-finned demon has a red core that boosts its speed and flexibility, letting it move and strike faster. However, that also leaves its joints unprotected by thick skin, which is both an advantage and a weakness. The demon raises its hand at Aang and says it is pointless to resist. The demon slams its hands into Aang, and he instantly realizes he needs to target its joints, since that is the demon's weak spot. He pushes hard, refusing to be seen as weak. He shouts that he has killed many one-finned demons in the past. In response, the demon delivers a fierce kick that sends the poor guy reeling and leaves him bleeding. Being the wooden-type demon this thing is, it can regenerate itself, and this bastard is very proud of his abilities. Aang always thought only green core demons had that power, and he wonders if demons have changed over the last 50 years. The demon accuses him of underestimating it, then sends out roots that pierce through our boy's body and pull him in. Grabbing Aang by the head, the demon says it still does not understand who he is. Aang can feel the roots stabbing into his organs, making it almost impossible to breathe. He has only just been reborn, yet here he is on the brink of dying again. Worrying for the other three, he feels the same despair as before, and fears everyone might die with him. Aang is filled with regret and sorrow, cursing his own weakness for dragging them into this. Noticing Aang's weakened state, the one-finned demon decides to eat him to evolve. Just as it moves in, a voice inside our boy questions whether the demon really plans to devour him. This inner demon complains that if Aang dies, its own plan will fail, and it is annoyed it has to spend its last bit of energy now. Suddenly, the one-finned demon senses a terrifying power coming from our boy. A demon form starts emerging, and the one-finned demon guesses it might be a 5-fin or 6-fin demon. However, the aura is far stronger, and shockwaves shoot up into the sky. An 8-finned demon bursts in, sending the one-finned demon into a panic. The newcomer announces itself as the strongest red core demon and the king of finned demons. Trembling, the one-finned demon calls it the Crimson Finned King. Meanwhile, Jiaotang keeps searching and fights any demon he comes across. After a while, he stops and notes that he has checked everywhere nearby but only saw 2 no-finned demons. He thinks the 4 candidates are not here and vows to keep looking until he finds them before sunset. He then senses a huge burst of energy in the distance and wonders what it is, guessing it might have something to do with the missing candidates. At the same time, Ang says he is surprised to appear in such a dark place with no sunlight. He demands that the final demon tell him if he really vanished and if the other 5 still rule as King Finns. The final demon says nothing has changed since before. Ang replies that it looks like demons have been living in a calm way. He remembers what happened 60 years ago and becomes angry, asking if they have forgotten what they did to him. He attacks the final demon, upset that even though he chose the body of the strongest warrior to host his spirit, it has turned weak after traveling through time. He feels let down that he is wasting the last part of his power on something so small. If he wants to show himself again, he needs to wait until he is fully awake. The strongest warrior must slowly regain all his memories. The final demon explains that the fin memory Ang talks about is linked to their growth. Ang points out that the bumps on their knees and how many fins they have show what level they are. When they grow more fins, they need fin memory, something only their kind has. That is why they are always stronger than other races, and the warrior body Ang is using now is also the same as theirs. However, they can only level up by devouring demons of the same rank. Ang, on the other hand, must consume demons of a higher rank than himself to unlock the hidden memories and evolve. The once cocky bastard now has been rendered a whiny mess, who promises to help the 8-finned demon and do everything for him. The 8-finned demon ends up killing the bastard since he is not worthy, and the only purpose he can currently serve is to act like fodder and help Ang awaken his fin memories. This acts as the first step in Ang's quest to get stronger. This edgelord wants our boy to slowly reach the 8 fins. When that happens, the 8-finned demon will wake up from his deep sleep. Afterwards, the bastard goes back inside our boy, while Ang himself is stuck somewhere in the brutal memories of the past, when he and his fellow were badly hurt. His fellow wished their majesty Ang lived, because that particular female is waiting for him. When the dream suddenly starts to turn into a nightmare, he opens his eyes in the present and wonders if he was dreaming. He realizes these are memories from long ago and feels very scared. Just then, his friends walk in, happy that he is awake, and he is surprised to see them. Suiju notices our boy's hair looks different and asks if it was caused by the demonic door. Ang feels confused since he has no clue what she is saying. He then checks if they are all okay, remembering they were pulled underground by the final demon. Ji Yaotang and the other 2 commanders enter and want our boy to share what happened down there. Ang asks the reason why all the seniors decided to visit him. Tada Yoshioku informs him that our brute commander brought them back. She calls him Tang Tang once again, which is just straight up embarrassing. Joel further explains that our brute commander found all 4 of them passed out in a cave. Luckily, the one-finned demon was nowhere to be found. Otherwise, carrying them all back would have been hard. Tada Yoshioku says that after some time, the other 3 woke up, but could not remember anything about what happened in the cave. Ang was the only one who stayed unconscious, and his body went through some changes. She gives him a mirror so he can see his changed hair, and then asks if he remembers anything from underground. Ang stares at his new look and wonders what went on. He still cannot understand everything that happened after he traveled through time. He recalls blacking out when he got hit in the cave but does not know anything beyond that. He thinks about whether he should tell them about his time travel, but decides not to. He figures nobody would believe him anyway, and they might think he is crazy, so he plans to keep using his current identity and focus on finding out what is really going on. Ang then confesses that he did wake up for a moment and saw they were in an underground cave, but then he fainted again. This gets Ji Yaotang wondering about the blood splatters he saw there, and who caused them. Joel looks at our boy and recalls that the name Ang is the same as the mightiest warrior. Though our boy's fighting is good, he is still lacking in some ways. He then asks if Ang has ever fought demons before. Our boy says no and explains that he is interested in demon combat and has studied it, but he never had real battle experience. Since Ang is well informed in this subject, the senior woman suggests our brute commander not to give up on training him properly. Moving on, Ang asks what happened with his warrior test. Suiju says they passed and are now on the Stilk team. Lan adds that due to recent events, Ji Yaotang formed them into a group of 4. Liu also chimes in, mentioning that they are behind compared to everyone else. Ji Yaotang explains they need to do missions to earn points, and because Ang was out cold for 3 days, they have no points so far. Ang is shocked he has been unconscious for that long. The next day, the 4 of them stand in the town in their new uniforms. People talk about the new warriors who came in 3 days ago. Ji Yaotang shows up, congratulates them for becoming official warriors, and praises them for surviving a run-in with a one-finned demon. He says he will be leading their squad, which is one of 9 under his command, and hopes they can do well against the other squads. Ang thinks the rules are tougher than before. Lan asks if Ang really never heard of the squad ranking system. It seems like Ang is a newcomer and does not know much, and right now, they are at the bottom of the list. Ji Yaotang explains how the leaderboard works and adds that squads at the bottom get monthly punishments like cleaning duty until the next rankings are out. Ang realizes that might explain why the town is so tidy. Ji Yaotang names Liu as the group leader, and no one seems to have any objections except our boy. He doesn't voice his desire to become the group leader and lets Liu be happy about his new job. Ji Yaotang then instructs them to pick missions from the board and get used to using their nano wings in fights. He says they can talk to him if they run into any problems. When Ji Yaotang leaves, Liu suggests they look at the missions because they have a lot of catching up to do, but the photographer girl says there is something more important first. They need a group photo, so they quickly take one. Later, Ji Yaotang asks his fellow seniors what they think about everything. Tada Yoshioku says that just like our brute commander had noticed, there were no fin demons left in the cave. They all seemed to die from some kind of explosion, leaving blood everywhere. This is why our brute commander suspects the 4 candidates did it, and admits that he feels uneasy about Aang, and notices something familiar about his smell. Tada Yoshioku tells him not to worry too much and says she is just glad the 4 came back safely. She also wants him to train them well so they do not lose to her team. Ji Yaotang is really serious about suspecting Aang, so Joel suggests they keep an eye on the kid. Meanwhile, at the mission board, Aang is happy to see all the missions are at the A level, each worth 10 points. Lan says A-level missions are the top tier, while Suiju adds they might also be the hardest ones. The guy further explains that B-level missions give 6 points, and C-level missions give 3. These lower-level missions are simpler and safer, but A-level jobs are known for being deadly, and people often lose their lives. Liu looks at the 3 missions listed, and, along with Aang, she suggests taking them all. Once their quest begins, the 4 of them start running, and Aang activates his core. His nano-wings appear, but one wing catches on a rock. Focusing on the energy from the nano-wings, he manages to form a sword in his hand. He thinks about how much nanotech has advanced in the last 60 years. They hide behind a rock. Liu says they are ready and explains their goal. 2 no-finned demons, both to be taken down at the same time. She reminds them to stick to the plan and wait for her signal. When the signal comes, they rush in. Liu points out that they have 3 A-level missions, so they cannot waste time. The fight must end quickly. Lan moves in first to disrupt the demons' view, keeping them from spotting the others. Liu repeats the plan. She, Aang, and Suiju will stop the demons from moving. After they attack, Aang wonders how the demons will fight with a cut joint. Meanwhile, the brute in the group punches both demons into the air, and Liu follows with a swift finishing move. The timing feels perfect. Suiju notices the fog is gone and the insertion is steady. Lan is glad that they managed to clear the fog. Dispersing fog here is much harder than in the exams, but that is expected from an A-level mission. Even one mission has taken them a while. The photographer girl finds a red core from the demons and smiles. The tsundere girl is also glad that they finally got the full 10 points. Aang, on the other hand, is surprised to learn that the cores break when a mission is completed. Suiju then explains that the tech is made for demon combat, and a chip in the mission form automatically sends points to the town leaderboard once the job is done. After clearing the fog outside town, she asks Aang if she can check the other 2 cores. She looks them over and sighs. Afterwards, they spent the whole afternoon fighting no-finned demons but only got 3 cores. They still need 7 more. Catching demons alive is much harder. Lan notes how they have had it easy until now. Liu then suggests the next step, which is to finish the other missions and keep taking A-level ones so they can rise to the top. Suiju takes a picture of Liu because why the fuck not? Lan, meanwhile, is hoping to take the first position so the other squads will not think they are weak. Aang also suggests the same, and since the other squads are also earning points, they need to move fast to stay ahead. The ones who act first succeed, and those who hesitate get nothing. Even though he is over 50 years old and has lived 2 lives, he feels energized around them. Their drive makes him feel young again. He suggests one more mission before sunset, and Suiju and Lan agree. Liu notices Aang is starting to take charge. Lan has already taken down a few more demons and says they got 3 more. Liu reminds him they are almost out of tranquilizers for no-finned demons, and each squad has a limited supply. As Liu checks her gun, Aang takes a closer look. She explains it is a nanotech tranquilizer gun designed to capture demons alive. Aang recalls that in the past, catching demons meant knocking them out by force, and researchers always complained about brain damage. Lan says they are lucky to have caught these ones, especially since they used up all their tranquilizers. They ended the mission after defeating a whole group to capture 3 alive, more than 10 demons in total. Suiju stretches and reminds them that warriors must be back before sunset or face punishment, recommending that they head back. Aang wonders if he even has a place to return to in this era. Liu says she needs to hurry home too. All that is left is to set the GPS so researchers can find the spot. Once they collect the demons, the mission will be complete. Just then, Aang asks if anyone else feels the strong killing intent. In that instance, red beams shoot out from behind, hitting the demons and killing them instantly. A masked boy steps out and says he will not let them finish their mission. He claims his squad is supposed to handle all A-level missions and demands to know who allowed Lu's squad to take them. Aang wonders who these new people are. They look like bad news, and the leader of the guild reveals that they belong to the Black Gun Squad, seniors in their group. He asks a girl on his team how many squads joined this mission, and she responds that there are 3. The leader scolds Aang and his team for not greeting their seniors. The 4 members of the Black Gun Squad land nearby and accuse Lu's team of taking A-level missions without their permission. They think Lu's group is disrespecting them. Of course, our tsundere lady is angry that they killed the demons she and her friends worked so hard to capture. A boy from the Black Gun Squad asks who leads Lu's group and why that person did not come to say hello. Lu, on the other hand, charges in to kick him, but he dodges and asks how she dares attack her seniors. In response, Lu expresses her disdain for these so-called seniors. Lan and Suiju step in, hoping to calm them down. The photographer lady raises the concern that the Black Gun Squad is being unreasonable and wants to know how they can just kill the demons her team caught. The boy shrugs, saying this is part of the competition and calling them naive. This only serves to fuel Lu's anger. Her teammates try to hold her back, and they also ask Aang to step in and settle this peacefully. Instead, but my guy runs forward, kicks the smug boy to the ground, and knocks off his mask. He has never heard anything so shameless before, and asks if they know how hard it was to capture those demons. His both friends are shocked, but Liu, as expected, seems pleased. The boy, now unmasked, tells Aang to get ready for a fight. Liu also wants to fight. Just then, Ji Yaotang appears and stops the both parties, pushing them apart. The commander is looking annoyed, reminding them that the sun is setting and warns them not to stir up more demons. But that scumbag boy says his team is the victim who got attacked by our boy. But our photographer girl was ready for this moment, and showed photos of the Black Gun Squad killing the demons that Lu's team had captured. Lan asks when Suiju took these pictures. Ji Yaotang reminds our team that they shouldn't have taken the A-rank mission. In defense, Liu reports that they were about to finish it until the Black Gun Squad got in the way. Well, the commander brushes off the entire ordeal, admitting that the Black Gun Squad had similar run-ins when they were new too. So he is not going to do anything about this situation. It is up to each squad to deal with these problems. All that matters is earning points at kata. Direct harm or risking other warriors is not allowed, but everything else, like messing up someone else's mission, can happen. He reminds them that these rules are the same for everyone, and they will see worse things in the future. He only stepped in because it was almost dark, so he told them to head back to town. He calls out the Black Gun Squad, because it is embarrassing that they were getting bested by a rookie team. As the boy leaves, he asks for Aang's name, and our boy generously gives it, and the boy, looking unsettled, turns to his teammates, recalling how Aang's name matches the mightiest warrior. He vows not to let our boy and his squad gain easy points. He also wants Aang to pay for the cut on his face and the humiliation. Then he puts his mask back on and leads his squad away. Ji Yaotang notes the Black Gun Squad is not the top squad, but they act fast and might try to mess up Lu's group again. Their leader also uses a gun, and though the boy did not show it, Ji Yaotang admits the boy is strong for a newcomer. A real fight might go either way. He then orders our team to return to town. Lu looks at our boy and asks why he was so reckless. She also thanks him for his kick. Lan invites his friend to his place for dinner, but Aang turns him down. This makes the musclehead wonder if our boy has some secret plan. Well, Aang admits that he does, planning to go after 3 more demons today. Later at night, the speakers go off, warning everyone not to leave the tower for their own safety. Aang stands off to the side, thinking that he's only heard the announcement and hasn't seen anyone walking around. He figures that with the town locked down, there isn't much to do, so he plans to check out his home once he's done with his secret mission. He notices that security at the main gate is loose. There's only 1 guard, so he guesses they might be short on people or not expecting anyone to leave at night. There's a gap in the gate wide enough for him to slip through, so he gets ready to head out. Right then, Liu shows up. She already knew that he would do this. She seems excited and reminds him that she caught on when he hinted earlier that he would go out at night. For once, her sharp perception and attention to detail really makes our boy worry. She then asks why he's leaving so late and if he has somewhere special to go. He jokes that he just ate too much and wants to walk it off. Then he admits he hopes to surprise everyone in the morning and make up for how the masked boy ruined their efforts earlier. Now that she has found him, his plan might be in trouble. As they go through the town, Liu catches up and asks about his plan. She can hardly wait to see the masked boy's confused face tomorrow. Aang notices her giggling and points it out. But well, the lady denies it, even though she's clearly amused. On top of the gate, 2 guards sit around yawning. One complains that guarding at night is awful, and simply wants to just close the gate since nobody should be leaving. The other, who is snacking, warns him not to say that, or the 3rd captain might hear. He explains the gap stays open for emergencies. You see, a few years ago, some refugees showed up and were attacked by demons because the gate took too long to open, so now every town leaves a gap just in case. The first guard apologizes, and the second tells him not to worry, as they will get used to their grueling job. Then he pulls out an adult photo book. The first guard notices it has new pictures of female warriors from other towns. But this isn't surprising, since it cost a shitload of money. While both perverts are distracted, our duo slip out of the gate. Ung notices that the old exam ground is covered in denser fog than before. They move to another spot, where Liu says it is less likely they will be noticed, because it is far from the walls, and there is a rotting forest for cover. Our boy then narrates the plan for her. He will lure the demons out, and she should aim for their heads. They will rely on pure strength to knock them out. He steps into the fog and tells her to wait for him. Liu trusts Ang's skills but still feels uneasy as he disappears into the thick mist. She cannot tell if she is excited or worried, but she focuses and stays ready. Liu is impressed by how smoothly Ang lures the demons. He only draws out one no-finned demon at a time, which makes it easier to capture them. For her, this brute force way of fighting feels new and fun. She learns it quickly and does well. When Ang signals, the girl moves in, and together they handle the demon with light but precise hits, almost like they are toying with it. They keep going until it passes out, which reminds her of their old methods. Exhausted, Ang thinks about how much more training he needs in this new body, even though he used to grab no-finned demons easily in his past life. Counting this one, Liu reminds him that they have just caught their third demon, and she is worn out. In response, he instructs her to leave them all there. The girl hesitates and asks if he is sure. Ung is confident about his decision, especially since the no-finned demons are not smart enough to rescue each other, and they probably will not try going into town. Knocking them on the head keeps them unconscious for a while, so they can finish things in the morning. The girl is impressed how he knows so much. Her response makes Ang realize he might have said too much. Suddenly, two one-finned demons appear, clearly smelling the humans nearby. Ang is worried that two of them have shown up at once. He knows he and Liu are not ready for that kind of fight. An alarm goes off in the town, and the three of the seniors rush to the top of the gate. Joel reveals to the guards they have spotted one-finned demons, so they better use the spotlights. Tada Yoshioku asks if they are the same demons from the exam. Ji Yaotang confirms that they are not the same ones. The guards spot the two one-finned demons, prompting Joel to wonder if something is pulling them closer. He tells everyone to stay calm, close the gates, and get the defense cannons ready. But Ji Yaotang yells not to close the gates because someone is still outside. He is furious to see our duo out there and demands to know why they left town so late. The senior woman desperately wants to know what the both kids are doing outside at this hour. They spot three no-finned demons tied up, which makes Ji Yaotang realize that these two kids came here to make up for the mission that got ruined earlier. Joel isn't surprised, since this is a typical mistake for new warriors who act too boldly. Even then, Ji Yaotang becomes angry and decides to punish both of them once they return. He charges toward the demons, and Tada Yoshioku tells her fellow senior that she will follow Ji Yaotang, leaving the rest to him. Joel sighs because his well-deserved night of drinking is ruined. Meanwhile, when the one-finned demons see the warriors, Ang tells the girl to hold off. He wants them to wait for backup and see if he is the real target. He wonders if this is the same thing that happened before, possibly linked to his reincarnation, or that strange event in the tunnel. Liu, meanwhile, suggests they fight together. One demon asks if they plan to resist, then focuses on Liu and calls her useless. Instantly that bastard lunges to attack them, but Ang pushes the girl away, saving her, and the demon comments on Ang's quick reflexes. Liu kicks the demon and notices water, wondering if her aim was off. The second demon traps her with 3 strands. The first demon warns Ang to stay sharp. Suddenly, Ji Yaotang arrives and delivers a punch to one demon. He vows not to let them hurt the kids and tells everyone to stay calm. Tada Yoshioku sees that one demon is a blue core, a water type, and the other is a red core, an earth type, so she decides to focus on rescuing Liu. The earth demon is grateful to the gods that he managed to block the hit, or else he would have lost his ugly head. Joel thinks they are at a standoff and tells them to pause the cannon fire. A girl comes over and reports that a large number of no-finned demons is on the way. Joel asks how many, and she reports an entire horde. With so many demons closing in, Joel orders the alarm to ring and tells all warriors to get to their stations. As the alarm blares, everyone scrambles onto the wall. Seeing the entire horde, Ji Yaotang can tell that these bastards came prepared. Ang notices the demons are heading straight for the town, and Tada Yoshioku says the two one-finned demons must have called them. Meanwhile, Liu shouts not to worry about her and to protect the town. She blames herself for being careless and feels like she is a bad leader. Suddenly, a demon covers her mouth so she cannot speak. Ji Yaotang and the others pull back, and the second demon attacks them. The brute commander warns Tada Yoshioku to watch out, and she manages to break some spikes being thrown at them. Ang notices the demons are not really targeting him. As he moves past one of the one-finned demons, it tells him to keep going. Ji Yaotang sees the demon let Aang pass and wonders why. Then the demon lunges at them again, warning that if they are not careful, they will die. Meanwhile, another demon drags Liu away. Aang suspects it is a trick to split him from the captains. He tries to stay calm, knowing he is not strong enough to rush in blindly. The two seniors shout at Aang not to chase Liu, saying he does not stand a chance against a one-finned demon. But Aang cannot forget how familiar her eyes look, and he cannot just leave her. Ignoring their warnings, he runs off to save her. The demon places Liu on the ground and talks about how interesting humans are. It is heard that humans often scream when they feel hopeless, and it demands that she beg for mercy to satisfy its curiosity. Noticing Liu's mouth is covered, the demon figures out why she isn't screaming. It removes the cover and tells her to beg, but Liu refuses. After all, a lowly one-finned demon does not deserve her pleas. The demon questions why she thinks it is not worthy, and Liu answers that she comes from a martial family. She will not kneel to an enemy because showing weakness is shameful. She demands either death or a fair fight. Upset by her words, the demon hits her and gives her an ultimatum that she will die. Just then, Aang shows up and tells the demon to let Liu go. The girl is surprised to see him alone and asks why he is by himself. The demon, on the other hand, is happy that its plan worked and that our boy, the real target, has arrived. Hearing this, the girl begins to wonder why Aang is the target. Our boy asks if she is okay, to which she responds positively, but asks why he is here alone. She warns him he cannot keep up with a one-finned demon and should run away. The demon hits Liu again, telling her to stay quiet. Aang pleads with it not to harm her and says it can take him instead if it leaves her alone. The demon ignores him and attacks, saying they will all die anyway. Aang tries to strike back, but the demon dodges and counters. He notices his body cannot react fast enough. The demon notices that Aang smells like a demon and wonders why. Aang is surprised to realize that this demon might be water type, making him wonder about how demons have changed a lot in 50 years, gaining many traits. His weaker body can only copy old movements, so he cannot fight for long. Liu worries that Aang will die at this rate and curses him for coming alone. She decides she cannot just stand by. Aang finds a moment to strike, but the demon mocks him, mentioning how he already killed a one-finned demon in the cave. It wonders why he is so weak now. Of course, Aang has no idea what the demon is talking about, and does not remember ever liking a one-finned demon. The demon does not like Aang's tone and wants to punish him. It does something painful to Aang and warns him that if he lies, he will die. Then it attacks Aang again, sending him crashing into some trees. The poor guy feels a sharp pain, worried his organs might be badly hurt. Liu sees him in trouble and feels she must help. The demon walks over to him and threatens to eat him if he does not give up the information. The bastard expresses his desire to evolve by devouring our boy. As it reaches for Aang, the girl suddenly charges in and kicks the demon away, warning it to leave her teammate alone. Seeing her, Aang can tell that she must have forced herself free, noticing her wrists and ankles are burning. The girl bravely faces the demon and dares him that if it wants to kill someone, it should kill her. Being the leader of the group she is gonna defend her fellow teammates until death. The demon agrees and tells her not to dodge. It then sends attacks at our boy from different angles, and that gigachat of a lady stands still, blocking each one. Aang shouts at her to move, but the girl refuses to comply since she doesn't want him to get hurt. She tells him to keep quiet and let her concentrate. Suddenly, spikes shoot up from the ground and pierce her feet. The demon grabs her and says it will not kill her right away. Instead, it will humiliate her and finally make her scream. Aang lies on the ground, trying to rescue his friend but feeling hopeless. He thinks it is unfair that even after reincarnating, he has to watch a teammate die again. He hates that he is the one who needs saving and wonders how he can protect anyone if he cannot protect himself. Why he must go through losing his teammates again and why he feels so weak. Suddenly, he releases a huge aura, breaking Liu free from the demon's grip. Seeing our boy move so quickly, the demon is surprised. Aang, meanwhile, is feeling proud of Liu as she did well as a first-time squad leader. From this point onward, he will handle things. He then gently sets her down. Suddenly, the demon picks up a familiar smell from Aang and thinks there is a secret behind him. Aang himself feels a strong power rising in his chest, like it is about to explode. In a burst of rage, his core shines with blinding light. The demon wonders if it is a kingfin core. Liu sees rays coming from our boy and faintly notices him going up against that monster. Seems like our boy has awakened his own one fin. Meanwhile, the seniors are fighting another demon. That demon senses a strong aura like its own, and Ji Yaotang punches it, then Tada Yoshioku kicks it, leaving a big hole in its body. Angry, the demon starts glowing, ready to self-destruct in the air. The woman senses that it is about to self-destruct and asks Ji Yaotang what he plans to do. The demon shouts that all humans will die, but right then, a spear-like blast from the defense artillery shoots it far away. Thankfully, it was defense artillery that took down the monster before it exploded. Joel, fighting off countless no-finned demons, sees the horde closing in and warns other two seniors about the approaching threat. Tada Yoshioku tells our brute commander they must get back to town. Ji Yaotang worries about our boy and Liu. but Tada Yoshioku doesn't want to abandon the battlefield, reminding him they have duties as warriors, not just as captains. So after making this harsh decision, they hurry back to protect the city. Elsewhere, the one-finned demon asks why Aang seems so much like them, yet also looks human. It is confused by our boy's human fins, which should be impossible. Aang wonders if his reincarnation gave him demon powers. Then he uses a healing power on Lu. Seeing our boy effortlessly healing the girl, the demon is shocked and asks him if he is wood type. Well, this healing power is likely because he absorbed a one-fin wood-type demon. If he defeats and absorbs a one-fin water-type demon, he might gain water powers too. The demon is stunned by Aang's strength, which it has never seen before. Aang makes roots appear behind him and says he wants to take the demon's power for himself. The demon panics when it realizes Aang has absorbed a wood-type demon. Seeing this shithead panicking, my guy takes great pleasure since he never saw a demon act afraid in his past life. He steps closer and tells the demon to use its full strength, wanting to measure its power. The demon seriously wants to know whether our boy is a human or a demon. As he says this, the bastard promptly charges at our boy. Since he possesses all the abilities of wood-type demons, he summons vine-like tentacles that grab the demon. The demon, in pain, decides to use its hidden move too. It swings its water whips at Aang, but my guy dodges. The demon rushes in again, saying it will not show mercy. As it fights, it brags that Aang will never understand real demon power. It delivers a strong kick, sending our boy crashing into the trees. Aang admits he does not fully grasp the demon's strength, but if the demon knew how fast he can learn, it would realize he is the mightiest warrior. He knows he has to keep adapting to win. The demon expresses shock regarding his wood-type healing, and Aang immediately catches on. He attacks again, trapping the demon in its roots, then grabs its face and says he is tired of this fight. The demon feels something strange inside itself just before its body bursts apart, leaving behind only its face and a water crystal. The demon claims it can dissolve its body and survive, but Aang points out that its core cannot escape. An overconfident demon is still doomed once its core is gone. He pulls out the demon's water core and reminds this lowly runt that even a 7-fin demon dies if its core is destroyed. With that, my guy crushes the water core and drinks it to take in its power. After chugging it down, he notes that the demon essence he just drank does not taste bad. The demon inside him urges him to devour more demons and kill the humans. As he tries to resist that voice, he even swings at Liu's shield in an attempt to devour her. But the real Aang within this body cannot imagine hurting his own teammate, so he tells the demon inside him to stop. He wants to save Liu, not kill her. At the main gate, the warriors are busy fighting off no-finned demons. Lan notices our duo is missing, prompting Suiju to say she heard rumors that 2 warriors snuck out and were targeted by a one-finned demon. Lan is shocked to think it could be our duo, but Suiju tells him they do not have time to confirm it right now and must keep fighting the demon horde. The 2 seniors also arrive and join the battle. Joel asks about their cores, and the captain says they are still fine. Mid-fight, Joel feels glad to report that since they already took down one-finned demon, the regular demons are less coordinated, acting like a group of panicked creatures. So he wants to use that opportunity to scare them off and buy time. The other 2 seniors agree. They leap from a high spot and release a huge blast with their cores. Tada Yoshioku recalls this is the second time they have pushed their cores so far, and Ji Yaotang wishes his fire core had more stamina so he could maintain this level of power. Joel comments on how dangerous the explosive red core can be, then dives in, slicing through demons. From above, Suiju watches, amazed by how strong a captain's attack can be. Lan thinks this must be the power of the one-fin core and dreams of reaching that kind of strength himself. After a while, Joel checks on the other 2 seniors, and they say they are holding up fine. Their plan is working, and the demons are being pushed back. Suddenly, Joel senses something unusual and points to a figure approaching. It is Aang, carrying the team leader in his arms. Tada Yoshioku wonders where the one-finned demon went. Joel looks at and feels concerned. Even though they have broken the no-finned demon's morale, Aang should not act so casually around them, since they can eat him alive in an instant. With the speak of the devil, the demons try to attack Aang, so the 3 captains jump in to help. My guy notices them and gives them a terrorizing glare, causing them to tumble back. The demons then start running away, and the warriors cheer as the horde retreats. Some ask why the demons suddenly ran, guessing they might be scared of the captains. Others agree, saying the demons likely panicked after seeing such a huge display of power. Everyone praises their captains for being brave and strong, though Ji Yaotang wonders if it was really his and his fellow seniors. He is forced to consider that our boy likely played a part. As Aang returns to normal, he notices the captains heading toward him. In his mind, he dreams of the 8-finned demon, who can't help but brag how Aang had been relying on his powers. When the boy asks who it is, the demon says they have met before, though it was over 50 years ago, so Aang may not remember. Our boy realizes this demon is one of the 8-finned demons and asks how many exist. In response, the demon assures him that his questions will be answered in time. The creature then suddenly appears before Aang and introduces himself as the Crimson King Fin, the strongest of their kind. He can tell that our boy is not afraid of him, which makes sense for the mightiest warrior, and praises the boy's will for resisting his mind control. The Crimson King then promises not to hurt him. When our boy asks why the demon chose his body and what happened to his old one, another 8-finned demon steps out from behind Aang and touches his face, saying he will understand later. He explains that Aang's body is now bound to the power of Crimson, and for both their sakes, the boy must work and level up. With time, they will both get closer to perfection. Aang becomes angry, as he doesn't like how these demons consider humans lowly runts. Standing up, he punches the demon. In reality, Aang suddenly snaps out of the dream and lunges forward, grabbing Lu by her shirt as though he is about to punch her. He then comes to his senses when he lays his eyes on the mighty white milkers of hers. Of course, Lu slaps him, and the others pin him down, asking why he behaved that way. At that moment, Liu's father Zhongong arrives and tells everyone not to treat their savior like an enemy. The others greet him as master, while Liu calls him father. For context, Joel explains to our boy that Sun Gong is the head of the Situ martial family. He is surprised that Aang does not recognize him even though he is from Heluos too. It all starts to make sense to our boy. Since he is the father of his team leader, then this man must be taking care of him for saving his daughter. So he apologizes to Sun Gong for causing trouble. The big cheese thanks our boy instead for saving his daughter, speaking on behalf of the Situ family. He then tells the 3 captains they can stay in the training area for a while, and mentions there will be a celebration that night for the victory over the demon horde. The 3 captains apologize for any inconvenience, but Sun Gong laughs, saying he has watched them grow up, and they can treat this place like home. He notes that Lu is naturally stubborn, so they should keep her in check if needed, without showing mercy. The captain agrees to handle everything and sends everyone else away except for Aang and the 3 captains. Once alone, Jiao Tang suspects our boy and wants him to spill everything he knows about the one-finned demon that appeared during the exam and the demon horde just recently. The other seniors also seek the same answers. Even though Aang doesn't belong to his squad of students, he still cannot afford any doubt and wants the junior to spill it. Of course, Aang asks if they are being serious, reminding them that he and Lu barely got away from the one-finned demon. Joel points out that the other 2 seniors teamed up just to defeat one demon, so how in the hell this kid managed to beat the demon all by himself? He then demands to know how Aang managed to escape. Joel keeps suggesting that the kid might be working with the demons, which would explain why the demons let him slip away every time. Internally, Aang wonders if he must reveal his secret and risk them killing him on the spot. He fears they will not believe he is human and will see him as a threat because of the demon power inside him. Joel's serious look shows he wants the truth and will not be satisfied otherwise. He is even ready to confront our boy. Seeing this, Aang begins to think he might have to fight them after all. But Tada Yoshioku breaks in and silences her fellow captain. She notes that only a 4-fin demon can take human form, and it seems unlikely Aang is one of them. Besides, there is no reason such a demon would come to a small sea-level town like theirs. Furthermore, the brute captain adds that demons are basically selfish and would not rescue anyone. Since Aang has saved Liu, Ji Yaotang is sure this kid cannot be a demon. Joel then pats the junior on the back and tries to brush off his early aggression as teasing. He recognizes that Aang and Liu nearly died and must be worn out. In her report, Liu recalls passing out after battling the one-finned demon with no memory afterward, so the senior is curious how Aang got her out. The woman is also curious if Aang really defeated the one-finned demon by himself. In his mind, our boy remembers that he did beat that demon and never thought of how he was going to mask this. He simply says he is a genius with one-of-a-kind ability. He explains he can instantly boost and enlarge his core's strength for a short time, letting him go beyond his normal power. That is his hidden trump card. Tada Yoshioku notes that Aang's description sounds like the method they use to channel their core's explosive force. My guy plays along, though he is not sure if they will believe the rest of his story. Joel, meanwhile, wonders if he is telling the truth. Ji Yaotang follows up by reminding the incident that took place inside the cave, wondering if Aang suggests he used the same trick to beat the cave demon too. My guy confirms it, saying he invented the technique when he first met his one-finned demon. Because his body absorbs the core's strength immediately, he managed to blow that demon to bits while it let its guard down. But it was his first time using the skill, so he passed out afterward. He tried the same thing again to rescue Liu, but blacked out once more because his body could not handle the strain. Surprisingly, the brute commander considers Aang's story. Kid's story also explains why his chest core got damaged both times. The power went past his limit. Tada Yoshioku agrees that if everything Aang says is true, it makes sense that he finds it too hard to manage. She points out their own technique is similar, but they have trained to lessen the toll when using explosive power. Since Aang cannot control it like they do, the woman warns him not to try again until he learns how to handle it. Ji Yaotang also shares the same thoughts. Though he is itching to have a spar with our boy, just so he can gauge his student's potential. Eventually, they move to an open space and Aang readies himself to face his commander. He can tell that his captain still doesn't trust him. Ji Yao Tang, all set and ready, gives Aang a chance to strike first. The boy braces himself, wondering how to fight someone like Ji Yao Tang. You see, our boy's current power is basic compared to his past abilities. His body cannot handle an all-out fight, and he debates whether to use the demon power inside him. Suddenly, Ji Yao Tang speeds forward and attacks, but my guy dodges instantly, though the impact destroys part of the area. Tada Yoshioku shouts at the brute commander to tone it down. The man in question is busy admiring his student's reaction time, which is not bad at all. Aang realizes he is relying on old life experience and is already near his limit. Ji Yao Tang attacks again, forcing our boy to evade. Once again, Ji Yao Tang wrecks large sections of the training ground as if it were his backyard. The captain then swiftly grabs Aang by the neck and questions if that is everything he has. Aang feels he cannot break free and is slammed into a side wall. Joel watches and doesn't like how the captain is going too far, suggesting they stop him. But Tada Yoshioku is sure that our brute commander would not hurt someone for no reason. The big brute keeps mocking his student and questions if he really deserves to be called a genius. Aang cannot stand being looked down upon. He remembers being called a king by warriors and thinks if Ji Yao Tang knew who he really is, he might treat him differently. Having claimed to be a genius, Aang feels he must prove it. He decides to stop holding back and uses the demon's strength. He releases his aura, startling Tada Yoshioku. He challenges his senior because it is now his turn to attack. The brute captain feels this massive aura coming from his small student. Aang thinks that by using the demon's power, he can make the low-quality core in his chest work better. He feels he can unlock his body's full potential just by changing his mindset. Joel wonders if he can also feel this synchronization improving, while the woman questions if it is even possible for a small town like Heluos to have someone as talented as Aang. Ji Yao Tang also notices that Aang's synchronization rate has risen to 40% and is still climbing. In comparison, Lu's rate is at 39%, which means our boy has now surpassed her. My guy warns his senior to stay focused before rushing forward to punch him. Ji Yao Tang realizes the kid is now twice as fast, but my guy brushes it off, remarking that his improvement is only slight. Ji Yao Tang thinks Aang is taking advantage of moments when his reaction slows, and is using low strikes to confuse him. He also sees that the kid is not fighting recklessly. My guy then kicks the captain again. Watching closely, Joel is forced to notice our boy's relentless attacks and wonders where he learned to fight so well. Just then, the big cheese Shungong arrives, warning that it is not safe to stand too close to someone like Ji Yao Tang, who is a tough fighter. The two seniors quickly go to speak with him, apologizing for using his battlefield for sparing, and further apologize for the inconvenience they have caused. The big cheese looks at the broken floor and is forced to question if the damage done to the arena could be simply called inconvenience. Of course, both seniors promise that they will fix it. Shungong says it is fine and becomes curious about Aang, who shares the name of the mightiest warrior. He wonders how the kid will handle his captain's attacks. Meanwhile, in the battle, the brute captain grabs our boy by leg to checkmate him. Shungong, meanwhile, narrates how Ji Yao Tang has always acted this way, taking any chance to counter with precision. Years of fighting demons have made his judgment sharp, but just when they thought Aang is the one about to take the L, Aang flips the script with his sharp maneuvers and smashes the captain's head with his own, landing a solid hit. The captain got no clue what just happened, so Aang explains his strategy. While the human skull is strong, the area between the eyes is softer. He attacks again even while taking hits, and Ji Yao Tang remains standing strong. And as for the onlookers, they are in shock. Aang releases a powerful blast that shatters the ground, demonstrating an all-in-one attack and defense technique. He decides to push the demon's power further with stronger force. He attacks again, forcing Ji Yao Tang to back away in fear. The brute disappears for a moment and reappears behind him. Tada Yoshioku is stunned as Aang uses the dust to slip into the captain's blind spot and turns his opponent's own move against him. Watching all this, the big cheese comments that this kid is very vengeful and learns quickly. The brute is angry after having his own move being used on him, and warns his little opponent not to forget that this was his move, and that he knows it better than anyone. Shungong can tell that the captain is losing his edge against his student. Meanwhile, Aang throws a punch but deliberately misses, much to the brute's shock. He wonders why he missed. In response, my guy pointed out his senior's tendency of restraining his opponent, rather than fighting head-on. Aang used this to his advantage and headbutted the captain, causing his vision to get blurry and lose his sight. This gave our boy the perfect opportunity to land the final blow, which he didn't, and missed deliberately since he was just here to prove his skills and strength. By now, Shungong is truly curious about Aang's true abilities. The gate opens, and Suiju enters her friends. She is here to remind them that the dinner is almost ready, and that Liu's family has prepared a large meal in the big room. When she looks ahead, she is shocked at the destruction around them. Aang quickly puts all the blame on the captain. Meanwhile, Joel teases the brute captain for losing pathetically. The big cheese then cuts through the chatter, reminding them that the sparring is over, and invites them to dinner. Ang is hungry too and thanks Shungong for the invitation. Shungong reflects on Aang's determination, power, control, and battle experience, concluding that this kid has great potential. As our boy walks off, the father teases his doting daughter, embarrassing her by shipping the both together. Later, everyone gathers for dinner. Shungong raises his drink and speaks for the town. He thanks them for protecting everyone and honors the warriors who fought hard. He especially praises Aang for saving his daughter. My guy stands up and says there is no need to thank him, though he gets hit by his commander as he is about to take a sip of alcohol, reminding him he is not old enough to drink. But our boy argues he is 18 and asks, and this is exactly why he was eligible to join the warrior's exam. As the atmosphere is lively, the big cheese smiles at her daughter, still shipping our boy with her. We then shift to the last conversation the both father and daughter had. He thinks Liu is very skilled and that Aang's talent is just as good as hers. So if the boy is that capable, a strong girl like Liu might like him. The girl thinks about this and decides Aang is a bit silly. She stops thinking and starts eating as Suiju begins speaking. She talks about how great the food is and says it feels luxurious. Let's not forget Lan is also here. He asks our boy how he defeated the one-finned demon. Jiotong explains that Aang pulled a lot of power from his core, making him stronger for a short time. Tada Yoshioku adds that it is like how captains use their core, but Aang took a big risk to get that power to escape death. It was very dangerous without training and hurt his body a lot, and using it again could damage him permanently. Furthermore, letting Aang and Ji Yaotang spar was eye-opening. The kid's power is surprising, but he needs more training or his body might break. Internally, our boy knows that if he told them he absorbed cores from 2 one-finned demons and has wood-type healing powers to recover quickly, it might be too much information. He decides to play along and keep the real info all to himself. He confirms the captains were right, which is why he passed out. It is clear he needs to train his body more. Lan is surprised at Aang's abilities and says how incredible he is, hoping they will not fall behind. Liu also is amazed by his skills and now understands how he was able to save her. The Brute Commander then reveals that they meant to punish Aang and Liu for messing up the mission earlier, but since they beat a one-finned demon, they let it go. He warns them not to act like that again. Joel also reminds them that there is no time to relax because the squad competition is still on. Speaking of which, Tada Yoshioku points out that Liu's squad is in last place and needs to try hard from the next day. Well, my guy is sure that his squad will be at the top. A month later, the squad competition is in its final intense phase. To get more points, squads go for A-level missions, which are tough. Liu talks with her squad and decides they will target a fattened sheep for high points and challenge other groups. The leader of the Black Gun Squad mocks our tsundere girl for making such bold decisions of challenging them, reminding her of the kick she got last time. Liu doesn't take the guy's crap and challenges the bastard for the 10-point duel. The bastards are more than willing to accept the challenge. They are ready to settle the score with our squad for what happened before. The scene moves to the town sparring arena where everyone hears about the duel and talks about it. The Black Gun Squad leader reminds our party that the audience is growing, and it is not too late to back out. He warns that if the Black Gun Squad looks like they are bullying Liu's team, it will look bad on them. Well, my guy believes that the outcome is still unclear and they better settle it with fists instead of empty talk. Luckily, the opponent's team's vice leader is a girl who can handle our squad along with Liu, or at least that's what these scumbags think. My guy tells his opponents not to underestimate Liu just because she is a girl since she is far from average. As usual, the photographer lady begins taking pictures, making sure she catches every badass fighting sequence Liu is about to show. Liu tells her female opponent to finish the fight quickly to get the 10 points fast. It looks like the vice leader already knows Liu is from the Situ family, so she hopes she shows something interesting. Liu charges to attack, but the girl blocks her strike. The girl wonders how Liu, a green core recovery type, can move as fast as a blue core agility type. Liu disarms the girl and says that while veteran teams have more experience and use team tactics, their individual skills often are not enough. Fighting as a team works, but personal skills matter too. The sting of our girl's attack is painful, and it doesn't take the opponent to realize Liu pumped power into her muscles, making them spasm. Seeing her wide open, Liu takes the chance to attack the girl multiple times. The leader of the scumbag team is utterly devastated to see his team taking L. Meanwhile, Liu makes the girl fall and reminds her that the Situ family is great at physical moves. The crowd praises her impressive performance, while the opponent is in utter disbelief. After losing 10 points, he decides to challenge our party for a 20-point match. Of course, Our Lady accepts the challenge, excited to get 20 points, but this time, and decides to handle things while she takes rest. The disturbing boy tells Aang he is not good enough, and wants to go after Liu. My guy reminds this scumbag that since Liu is the leader, the opponent should beat him first to prove he is worthy to challenge her. The man does not even seem confident to face Aang, but it does not matter to him. He threatens to beat our boy so badly that even his mother will refuse to recognize him. Aang's teammates are shocked by the threat, while Suiju gets ready to take a good photo of the fight. Aang and the boy take their spots on the battleground. The man draws his gun and shows he switched to training bullets. He assures our boy that the bullets will hurt but will not seriously injure him. Well, it seems like training bullets are something new to our boy. After all, warriors in the past used real bullets from the start. Anyhow, he teases the opponent not to miss his shots. A member of the Black Gun Squad says this is what rookies say and that their leader has great aim, making Aang feel embarrassed. The Black Gun Squad leader warns Aang that too much confidence may get him killed one day. So he allows our boy to choose any weapon he desires. After all, he doesn't want Aang to accuse him of bullying. Speaking of weapons, our boy remembers the unique weapon he used to possess in the past. Since he doesn't have that, he decides to fight with his fists and questions his opponent, if that is acceptable. Of course, that cocky runt is shocked, and his teammates wonder what Aang is planning. The bastard even starts to laugh and asks if Aang really wants to fight without a weapon. He thinks all rookies are cocky. Nonetheless, he agrees with our boy's demands, though he reminds Aang that even if a lion were hunting a rabbit, he would not hold back. Similarly, he promises not to show mercy and to get back the points they lost. Well, it seems like our boy got a perfect chance to train the demon inside him and use its strength. As the battle continues, he dodges the bullet and charges at the man. But that dude calls our boy an idiot for charging ahead, and shows a guided missile in his right hand. He fires many bullets, and Aang realizes these high-speed bullets are hard to dodge, even for agile demons. Though he is glad he chose this opponent because it lets him test his skills. He uses his water skills to attack. People watch as Aang dodges the bullets smoothly, like water. After having his attacks dodged, the bastard threatens our boy with the trump card he is holding. A Black Gun Squad member thinks their leader's gun is great at storing power and adding energy to bullets for stronger shots. As Aang moves towards the gun, the man challenges him to see how he can dodge the accurate, explosive bullets up close. But my guy casually punches the gun, sending the shot into the air. Then my guy follows up with a strike on the opponent's hand to take control of the gun. With the following kick, he makes the bastard fall. He then puts his foot on the gun and scores the victory, earning 20 points. The defeated opponent trembles and says it is impossible. Lan and Mina praise our boy for his performance. Liu, not clearly seeing what happened, wonders where Aang learned these skills. The squad gets 30 points from their fight with the Black Gun Squad and catches others' attention. Soon, many more warriors, including older squads, come to challenge them for the thrill of winning. Liu's squad takes these challenges with points at stake. They win more than they lose, and their points rise quickly. By the end of the month, despite other squads being jealous, Liu's squad is at the top and makes it to the finals. Eventually, the final competition will be between 3 squads. The scene then cuts to the Colosseum, where the final battles are supposed to take place. The 3 seniors are making their way to the Colosseum, and Joel gets emotional every time they go back to the ruins at the end of the month. Watching their squads improve step by step is really heartwarming. The woman is just fascinated by how Liu's squad jumped to the top of rankings in just a few days by beating 8 teams. She heard they used their points strategically to challenge other squads and won most fights, though she believes that this method is silly and asks our brute commander to stop it. But Ji Yaotang says they earned points through their own strength, and there is no reason to stop. He adds that with Aang and Liu on their team, they are already strong. He has secretly watched some of their fights and saw that the other 2 members are also good. As they arrive at a gate, Joel recalls it has been years since a new squad entered the finals, causing a lot of noise outside. Ji Yaotang opens the gate, steps in the Colosseum, and says he is excited for the upcoming matches. In the crowd, one of the members from Tada Yoshioku's squad throws shade at our brute captain and his squad. She is throwing shade at our squad for not having a name. Another girl from Tada Yoshioku's team warns her that others might hear. By they way, Tada Yoshioku's team name is Sunflower Squad. And as for Joel's team, they are called the Luminous Squad. They all believe that Ji Yaotang's side is full of rookies and the hype is just rumors. Meanwhile, our squad stretches, and Suiju notes their opponent looks intimidating. Lan says the Starflower and Luminous squads are the strongest under Tada Yoshioku and Joel and well known in Heluos. He adds that the next 3 captains to replace the current 3 captains will come from these top squads. Aang says it is fine and tells his squad to give their all. Even though his body still lacks his secret power, he will not lose to anyone who possesses strength similar to one-finned demon. He feels winning should be easy and is curious about the prize. Meanwhile, Tada Yoshioku asks her squad to gather. When they come together, the squad leader tells her captain that they are ready and asks for something special if they win, such as a shopping trip with their beloved captain in a B-level town. Just in time, the Luminous Squad also arrives and doesn't hesitate before throwing some shade at the Sunflower Squad. While other squads wish to achieve something bigger, Sunflower Squad can't think of something else better than mere shopping. A girl from the Starflower Squad is annoyed and says the boy would not understand how important clothes shopping is for girls. By now, she is sure why the Sunflower Squad would never get along with Luminous. The captains of all teams finally arrive there. Once the seniors are done with their banter, Ji Yaotang then orders our squad to gather too. Once all 3 squads unite at one place, He says that since they know each other a bit, he will not introduce them one by one. And without further ado, dives deep explaining the terms and conditions. You see, the finals will have team and solo matches, and the squad with the most points wins. Tadayoshi adds that the rules for each match will be revealed later, and they will announce the prize to keep everyone competitive. She is sure everyone is excited about the prize and will love what is in store. Joel announces the first prize is a one-way training session in a B-level town, which makes the contestants happy. Our squad in particular is very, very happy. Without stalling further, Ji Yaotong then orders the squad leaders to come forward to draw lots. As the leaders draw their lots, the other warriors keep guessing what challenges they will face. Thinks about many changes he is seeing as compared to his previous life. Town classifications were not clear in his time. Towns were independent, and each town had to rely on themselves. He remembers Lan saying this town is C-level, the lowest rank. B and A-level towns are above it, and A-level towns have strong warriors. The only level settlement is Grand City, the strongest with 5 or 6 finned warriors and the top 7 finned warriors. Wonders how it compares to his old town, and if his old town still exists after the big battle. He thinks about his old teammates. Suddenly Lan calls him, noticing he is daydreaming. Suiju suggests that they get ready as they are first to compete. Ji Yaotang announces all weapons have been swapped for training weapons, and the first match is between Liu's squad and the Luminous squad. Suddenly the photographer girl realizes that they still do not have a squad name and wonders if they will come up with one. Lan agrees, saying they need a good name for when they become famous. Says it is a good idea and they should talk about it later. Meanwhile, Liu feels nervous. The leader of the Luminous squad sneers, asking how a ragtag group like theirs can win. He tells his members to focus on taking out their opponents, leaving Liu to him. The battle is signaled to begin. Liu realizes that this will be a match where everyone will be fighting one-on-one, but this strategy only favors the stronger opponents. She regrets the situation and tells her team to group up. Sees that Liu has seen through their tactics. Our squad's best move would be to eliminate their leader. He notes that the biggest flaw in the Luminous squad's strategy is if they lose their leader, the whole team falls apart. Liu's judgment is good and Aang thinks it is great. But the opponent also orders his team to regroup and change tactics, and they all latch on our girl Liu. Liu also tells her team to support her by covering her moves. Her teammates quickly block the other 3 Luminous squad members with precise strikes. The Luminous squad leader sees Liu moving directly toward him and warns her not to underestimate him. And he too rushes forward to fight Liu. The boy attacks with a small red Rasengan. The girl quickly instructs her team to close their eyes to stay safe. She thinks the boy used energy in his hand to make a flashbang that even hit his own teammates. Watching this scummy technique, Ji Yaotong is annoyed at Joel for not teaching the Luminous squad leader how to fight without cheap tactics. While the flash might work in one-on-one fights, it is bad in team battles because it affects teammates too. Joel replies he told the boy many times, but he did not listen, and sometimes habits need a hard lesson. In the battle, that cocky guy thinks rookies should not act arrogant. As he gets ready to attack again, Aang steps in, hitting his hands and asking if he ever thought about his teammates' safety. My guy then wears a water battle visor and kicks the boy back. The boy is shocked and wants to know since when Aang got the visor. My guy throws a jab before explaining the lenses are made of water, thick, and able to bend light, which stops most of the flash by using water. He made these lenses with water from absorbing it, reducing the light. It works, and the light fades. Liu sees the opposing team's leader is hurt after taking Major L from our boy. It is then she lunges forward to finish the bastard off. Meanwhile, that bastard suddenly realizes that he can't move his hand. Seems like Aang dislocated his arm. The girl goes full ballistic and hits the bastard hard. Meanwhile, Aang is calmly helping his other teammates, so the fights go smoothly. After the battle, Liu grabs the enemy team's attention by telling them that their leader has fallen and asks if they want to keep fighting. Of course, they choose to surrender. Joel says this was expected. Worse yet, our boy has not even used his power yet. The Sunflower Squad's leader questions the Luminous Squad's leader, asking if their loss was really because they lost strength. The boy says they were just caught off guard and warns the Sunflower Squad will be next. As the Sunflower Squad comes down, their leader thinks the Luminous Squad's comments are annoying. Anyhow, as the team gets into the arena, Tadayoshi tells them all weapons are now in training mode, which marks the start of the battle. The Sunflower Squad charges at Liu's team. Their leader tells them not to get upset by the Luminous Squad's tactics and to stick to their training and keep their formation. Meanwhile, our brute Lan decides to put all his power into one punch. When he hits the ground, he creates a shockwave that cracks the earth. Aang thinks about using his power since there is chaos out there. He makes roots shoot from the ground to trap all the opponents. They are shocked and wonder where this power came from. Aang, on the other hand, is glad that it's working well and sees many uses for the elements he got from demons. He wonders how many elements there are. Liu then gestures to Lan to keep attacking, and the boy charges, but the opponents dodge his attack. The leader of the Sunflower Squad orders her team to move and regroup. She thinks their formation was broken. But instantly, Liu and Suiju attack the leader, who tries to block and asks her fellows to help her out. But she sees her teammates are already fighting our boys. The girl sees Aang handling 2 teammates alone, and remembers the Luminous Squad's warning about Aang being the strongest in Liu's squad and able to change the battle. Meanwhile, our photographer girl over here warns this girl to better focus on the fight. But the girl feels that she is invincible since she is an agility type. But this cocky girl gets the reality check when Suiju uses her speed to attack her, leading to our win. Tada Yoshioku says it is over, with Liu's squad winning all the team battles. Now it is time for solo duels. Since the warriors can choose their opponents, both the leaders of the Sunflower and Luminous squads want to battle Aang. Ji Yaotang explains the solo duels are one-on-one, so they better make up their minds who is going to fight our boy. But being the Chad he is, my guy Aang wants to face them both together. As the solo duels get closer, Aang knows this will be the final fight, so he better take it seriously. His opponent is sure that Aang is underestimating them. They promise he will regret not taking them seriously. Tada Yoshioku explains that the rules are the same as before, and the duel ends when one side gives up or cannot continue. And with that settled, they are ready to rumble. The boy and girl charge at Aang together. The boy attacks first, once again warning him not to underestimate them. He uses his flash attack again, causing his teammate to get shocked, and that he is using this trick so early. You see, a while ago, they both had a dialogue before the duel started. She recalls the boy saying that since they are fighting Aang together, they cannot afford to lose. The chance of moving to a B-level town might still be possible. He has a good plan and gives her a special battle visor, saying it will block most of the flash attacks. When he blinds Aang, she needs to take the chance to strike. The girl is amazed by the visor's value. The boy stresses they cannot underestimate Aang and need to work together to move to the B-level town. He further reminds her that the flash will be the signal, so she must not miss her chance. As the boy gets ready to attack, he lets our boy know that there is no way to escape because his attack is 5 times stronger than before. Tada Yoshioku and the others struggle to see through the bright light. The girl notices the boy put a lot of energy into a powerful flash, even stronger than the last finals. Joel fears that using so much energy means the core cannot handle it for long, so they need to finish quickly. The Sunflower Squad's leader thinks Aang will only be blinded for a short time, and in order to utilize this opportunity, she decides to use her speed to strike him fast. She finds him and gets ready to attack. But my guy was already on her, and looked at her with satisfaction over his face. The girl is shocked by his intense look, feeling as if something scary is pulling her down into a cold ocean. Aang uses water to trap her, making her scream in pain. As her teammate is busy producing blinding light, he asks why she is the one shouting, to which she says it is because Aang attacked her and the visor fell off, leaving her blind. Aang apologizes for rendering their plan a total flop. He then uses different elements to attack both of them, making them fall. Ji Yaotang watches the flashes and dust, hoping the warriors know how to control their power to avoid hurting anyone. Feeling concerned, he jumps into the arena in order to check and feels an ominous aura. But after that giant explosion of energy, the dust begins to settle, revealing our boy as the one man standing. His friends come rushing to him. Lan is the first to praise him and asks how he stopped their attacks in the bright light and beat 2 opponents at the same time. He is curious because no one was able to see anything after that explosion of light. To which Aang reveals that he grabbed their visor, making them blind too. But of course Liu internally feels that there is something more than that, though she doesn't voice her suspicions. Ji Yaotang comes to their squad, telling them they won the tournament and congratulating them. He is surprised by our boy, especially how he counters and attacks the 2 squad leaders. Aang humbly says his senior is just flattering him. Internally, Aang thinks he is the mightiest warrior and that no tough opponent could make him lose. He feels he could have won just with his battle experience, though using his powers made it easier. Ji Yaotang then assures them they will be rewarded. The next day, they will go to the underground tunnel to the nearest B-level city for a week of training. Everyone is happy about this news. The senior further tells them to get ready and meet in the morning as they leave. Lan says he heard there are 3 top warriors in those cities and looks forward to meeting them. As our squad walks away with smiles on their faces, Joel notes how Aang is so strong that even they might not be able to beat him if he uses all his power. Our brute commander also agrees, believing that the kid will reach the pinnacle of his career at one point. Anyhow, Joel adds that going through the underground tunnel is safer than traveling above ground. The woman also warns the commander to stay alert, mentioning that some no-finned demons appear there sometimes. Of course, Ji Yaotang isn't concerned, believing that no amount of no-finned demons can threaten them. He is confident the 4 of them will be fine even without his help. The underground tunnel, once a busy travel hub, is now ruined and mainly used as a passage between cities. Meanwhile, in one of those tunnels, a scared warrior runs away but gets killed by a 2-finned demon. The demon says that humans are weak and boring. He is apparently lost here, having no clue how to get out. The next day, Ji Yaotang and his juniors arrive at the underground passage. Suiju is thrilled to see it and takes pictures. She says the place looks really old and asks when it was built. The senior reveals that it is older than he is. The girl can tell that it looks deserted and wonders if people ever used it. Ji Yaotang explains that after the Battle of Dawn, many great warriors died, and the number of elites dropped a lot, making it impossible to expand territories or do missions. They also ran out of power crystals, which they needed. The once great underground network was slowly abandoned because they lacked power crystals. He says the network was built during the time of the greatest warrior Aang. Suiju is surprised it was built in such a famous time. What's more fascinating is that the name of the hero our boy inherited also lived at that time. My guy feels smug about himself, causing Ji Yaotang to get annoyed. After all, he believes that the kid just shares the name of the great warrior and has no connection to him. He orders Aang not to joke about the mightiest warrior. After a little back and forth, the senior finally calms down, realizing he lost his cool for no reason. He reassures them and asks them to keep going. Looking at the architecture of the place, Aang remembers that the structure looks like something he once suggested in a past life. Furthermore, his captain is utterly wrong about one fine detail. This place is a massive underground network, connecting the cities and serving as the safest and most fair merchant route. He hadn't expected such an impressive system would be abandoned after his death. Out of curiosity, Lan asks about the energy crystals his senior mentioned, and whether they are the same as the demon cores in their chests. Ji Yaotang explains that energy crystals are made from many demon cores together. One demon core can boost a warrior's power, but combining many cores is difficult. They kept failing until they made a big energy crystal. This crystal powers their cities like electricity. High-level future operations will involve group hunts to collect more demon cores to make energy crystals for the hierarchy. They are heading to the B-level city of Piketia to learn more and get their allocated energy crystals. Suiju asks what happens if the city's energy core runs out and there are no replacements. Ji Yaotang says it would cause everything to stop. Everyone is shocked, while the senior further clarifies that without power, normal life would be impossible. Defense systems and weapons would stop working, and people would have to flee their homes. It is the city's biggest disaster. But there is no need to worry because their town, Heluos, is not very big. Their energy crystal can last another 3 months. They usually travel to Piketia every month, so this is just a precaution, and there is no immediate danger. Ji Yaotang warns them to be mentally prepared. A B-level city like Piketia has not only 2 5-finned warriors but also 3, including one with a synchronization rate of 69%. Everyone except Aang is shocked to hear this. My guy is feeling smug about how he is a 7-finned warrior with a synchronization rate of 96%. Suiju notices a button on the wall and reaches to press it. She asks what it is. Aang quickly sees what she is doing and stops her. Ji Yaotang also scolds her for trying to touch anything and is glad Aang stepped in. The girl points out that the button seems like it wants to be pressed, so her hand reaches for it naturally. Ji Yaotang explains that the button is for an emergency seal. In the worst case, it would completely close off that part of the tunnel. He points to a circle above them and says, pressing the button will make thick metal slabs appear from above and below, sealing off the area instantly. This is only to cut off access to other cities and ensure safety. Aang thinks the most important part of the tunnel is still working, but he senses a killing intent getting closer. He gets ready for battle and moves forward a bit. The senior also notices Aang's tense face, then also smells blood, shocking him instantly. He is shocked that Aang smelled the enemy before him. For now, he considers that Aang's nose is very sensitive, and masks it as just an instinct. Now is not the time to think about it. He tells Lu's squad to drop their bags and get ready for battle. As they move forward, they see blood, and Ji Yaotang wonders what is happening in Piketia since the blood is coming from that direction. They meet a severely injured warrior from Piketia, who asks if they are from Heluos before collapsing. Ji Yaotang doesn't waste time before asking what happened in Piketia. The man says a demonic horde attacked the city. Piketia has already activated the evacuation alarm. Liu quickly questions what this alarm entails, whether they need to go help. Ji Yaotang reveals that the only time the city would sound the alarm is if all their warriors are dead. Hearing this, Aang is furious about the city's fall and the many lives lost. They see sparks from the direction of Piketia, and a bolt of light attacks the injured warrior, dragging it away. Aang feels bad for not reacting sooner as a demon appears. It grabs the injured man's head and looks around at the others. It says they all need to be killed and that the dead should not talk. Then the demon kills the warrior. The demon thinks about who to kill first. He attacks Lan, but Ji Yaotang stops the demon's strike. The demon can tell that this new warrior is stronger than the last one. Meanwhile, Ji Yaotang realizes this is a 2-finned fire demon and that it is really powerful. He knows he cannot take another hit and needs to protect the 4 of them. He does not have the energy to think too much, so he grabs everyone and leads them to run away. The demon keeps chasing them hard. Ji Yaotang reaches a button on the side wall, but the demon is getting closer and threatening to kill them. Aang presses the button, pushing Ji Yaotang and the others to safety. He stays behind with the demon and the injured warrior from Piketia. Liu tries to protest against this idea, but the gate finally closes, leaving her concerned about him. Ji Yaotang suddenly remembers how Ong insisted him to save the three of them, so he puts little faith in our boy and asks the kids to stay calm. Ong gave them a chance to survive, which they should not waste. It is not safe to stay there, so he tells them to hurry and leave. Lan notes that the demon is a two-finned and that even Aang would find it tough. Suiju agrees, saying they cannot just leave him behind like this. Liu also insists they break the door to save him. Ji Yaotang explains that the door is made from special material mixed with extra alloys that can handle attacks from three-finned demons. It is not easy to break, and the ceiling is so strong they cannot hear anything from the other side. There is nothing they can do. The three of them ask if there is another way to save Aang. Ji Yaotang admits that even with help from the other two captains, there is no guarantee, but he finds a possible solution. He tells them to follow him to the side tunnels. One tunnel leads to another city where they can get help. Eventually, they keep running along the path Ji Yaotang showed them. One of them thinks choosing this route means ignoring what is happening on the other side of the door, but they all hope that our boy will survive. Meanwhile, the man in question is fighting the demon and shows his true power. Since there is no one around, he no longer needs to hide his power. Watching this, the two-finned demon asks if Aang is a demon or a human. Well, even our boy is not even sure. For now, he is more interested in the demon's fire element, which my guy wants to snag all for himself. Seeing the aura my guy is exuding, the two-finned demon is really curious to learn if the kid is more powerful than one-finned demon. Aang quickly uses roots to attack the demon. Seeing this, the demon scoffs that if Aang is one-finned wooden type, then his fire element is the perfect counter. He unleashes a fierce blaze to destroy Aang's roots, saying he will consume our boy's powers. The demon then fires a fire blast, but Aang dodges it, making the fire hit the door instead. The bastard then makes fun of Aang, saying he will be burned if he comes closer and tries to escape. But my guy casually uses water to cancel out the fire and creates a powerful blast. This surprises the demon, and Aang tells him he was wrong to think he only has the wood element. In an instant, Bro swings his sharp claws and grabs the demon's core. He rips apart the bastard after acquiring the core. Suddenly, a bunch of demons attack him, and he sees they are all no-finned demons. He realizes they followed the sound of his battle. He looks at the two-finned fire elemental core before shattering it and absorbing the shards. After becoming two-finned demon, he feels the intense heat of flames inside him. He understands there are endless no-finned demons. Remembering how to control fire, he creates a huge fire explosion to defeat them. The screams of these bastards are meant to be tribute for the soldiers who lost their lives in the tunnel. As he keeps fighting, he reaches an exit and thinks the demons might have come from there. He sees the area is wrecked with many dead warriors on the ground. He realizes the B-level city is completely destroyed by a powerful demonic horde. The horrific scene and remnants of the battle clearly tell that it was a wood-type demon that killed the warriors with one hit, and the attack affected a large area. The power probably came from a three-finned demon who killed the civilians. Ji Yaotang had said there were two three-finned core warriors in the city. Then Ong sees two warriors hanging from the roots. He uses his own roots to bring them down, recognizing they were amazing warriors. He closes their eyes and tells them they can finally rest in peace. He feels the harshness of the battle deeply. A young boy suddenly calls Aang. Confusing our boy with a demon, the kid asks if he plans to kill everyone. The kid thinks our boy must be a high-level demon since he can take a human form. He says the warriors saved his life, and he cannot stand demons ruining their bodies. Hearing this, Aang doubts the boy will trust his true intentions even if he tries to explain. Before he can think it through, a demon attacks the boy with a devastating attack. Quick on his feet, my guy fights the demon and takes it down. He then turns to the kid and tells the boy not to move and promises to heal him. The boy asks if Aang is a demon or a human. And with that last question, the kid pushes up daisies before getting an answer. This causes our boy to wonder about his own nature but decides that no matter what he is, his mission stays the same, to kill all demons. And so, he begins the massacre. He hits them with several devastating attacks using his new firepower. Once he is done, he explains that if he focuses the flames on his back, he can move faster and spread the fire like phosphorus powder to create explosions. Though it's a pity that he can't fly. But then he also wonders what would happen if he injected the flames directly into their bodies. When he throws a demon to the ground, it causes a huge explosion. He thinks that if he squeezes the flames and injects them, the demons could turn into bombs. He realizes that elemental abilities have many uses and decides to think about it more later. Just then, he sees the demons running away. He uses his fire magic to chase and kill them all. Afterward, he remembers the others waiting for him and that Ji Yaotang was supposed to bring back an energy crystal. Aang does not know if they are all safe. The town's own energy crystal can only last 3 more months, but the road to Pikadia City is blocked. The town would be in big trouble if they do not get a new energy crystal soon. He needs to reach the city's crystal storage and get the energy crystal. Not sure where to go, he has to think carefully about his resources. Using his wood-type abilities, he thinks the energy crystal, being a condensed form of cores, must give off energy. He can scan the whole city for energy changes to find it. He spreads his roots throughout the city to search for the crystal. Eventually he finds it and runs toward the source, realizing it is underground. He feels weak energy changes, meaning it is well protected. He finds an entry point and goes down, discovering the underground area is more complex than it looked. In the chamber, he sees a machine and realizes it must be part of the energy distribution network for a B-level city, which is impressive. He assumes the energy crystal would be even more amazing. Just then, he hears an automatic broadcast telling all warriors to protect the crystal with their lives. He heads to the storage area and wonders how many warriors are there. uses his powers to check and find some dead warriors. The demons also damaged the crystals. He thinks the fallen warriors probably fought to protect the crystals until they died. The demons did a targeted attack to destroy the crystals and seem smarter than before, like someone with a plan directed